April 14th, 1912. The Titanic was crossing the freezing Atlantic Ocean at full speed. Passengers laughed, musicians played, the lights glowed against the dark night sky. But hidden ahead was danger. Hours before the disaster, multiple ships had already warned the Titanic about giant icebergs directly in its path. Not once, not twice, but 6 separate warnings. So if they knew the icebergs were there, why didn't the Titanic stop? In 1912, the Titanic was the largest moving object humans had ever built. It was called the unsinkable ship. People believed modern engineering had conquered the sea. The Titanic had luxurious rooms, electric elevators, swimming pools, and fine dining halls. For wealthy passengers, it felt more like a floating palace than a ship. But confidence can sometimes become dangerous, because many people aboard the Titanic believed nothing could truly harm it. As the Titanic crossed the Atlantic, other ships nearby began reporting dangerous icebergs. Wireless operators sent warning messages directly to Titanic's crew. One message warned about large ice fields and giant icebergs. Another warned heavy pack ice directly ahead. And then another. The warnings kept coming, but there was a problem. The Titanic's wireless operators were extremely busy sending private messages from wealthy passengers. Many iceberg warnings were never treated as urgent emergencies. Some messages were delayed, some were ignored, and some never even reached the captain. This is the question historians still debate today. Why didn't the Titanic slow down? One reason may have been confidence. The Titanic's builders believed the ship could survive serious damage. Another reason was reputation. At the time, speed mattered. Crossing the Atlantic quickly made headlines. Some historians believe the crew didn't want to appear weak or cautious. And then there was visibility. The ocean that night was unusually calm. Normally, waves crash against icebergs, making them easier to spot. But on this night, the sea looked almost perfectly flat. That made the iceberg nearly invisible in the darkness. Then, at 11:40 p.m., a lookout finally spotted it. An iceberg, directly ahead. The warning bell rang. The crew tried desperately to turn the ship, but the Titanic was simply too large and moving too fast. Seconds later, the iceberg scraped across the side of the ship. At first, many passengers barely noticed anything, but below deck, freezing Atlantic water began flooding into the ship. As the truth became clear, panic spread slowly through the Titanic. There were not enough lifeboats for everyone on board. Musicians continued playing music to calm passengers. Families were separated. People searched desperately for safety. And in the freezing Atlantic Ocean, survival lasted only minutes. More than 1,500 people lost their lives that night. The Titanic disaster was not caused by just one mistake. It was a chain of decisions. Warnings ignored, overconfidence, pressure, human error. And over 100 years later, the story still fascinates the world. Because the Titanic reminds us of something important. Sometimes the greatest dangers appear when people believe they are untouchable.